Dear audience, hope you would be fine. Today we would be discussing the Second Coming poem by William Butler Yeats. Actually, this poem is very much strong and relevant to our real situation of the world as well, and it bears a lot of hope as well. One of the critics said that Ancient Mariner, the Rime of the Ancient Mariner by T.S. Eliot is the most organized poem, which represents the word order or the thematic creation of the word. But if we bring those words with this poem as well, I myself am, and a lot of the critics of this poem and the W B Yeats considers that this poem is the most representative poem of the modern world, even the postmodern world, and later on we would be talking about this COVID as well. COVID was the new situation. I'm not making any resemblance with this one, but as an example I would be discussing the situation of the COVID with reference to this poem as well. So the poem starts with that: the turning and the turning in the wide gyre, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. This is turning means that the gyre is very circled one air, which moves. Usually it's seen in the form of the whirlwinds in our villages as well. So as you know that center's falcon is going to move in the form of the gyre, so by the end of the outer orbit it cannot hear the falconer, means center cannot hold the things and the things are going to fall apart. And definitely the next line runs that the center fall apart, things fall apart and center cannot hold. This is more like the modern situation of the world as well, that for example the world has excelled in the technology, but technology where it has benefited a lot to the humans, at the same time it is also devastating as well for the humanity. So for example, if we apply it on the cultural patterns, so every out of our father and the grandfather, they consider that the things or the culture as a material representations, they are going to fall, that they are going to lose their culture. So from cultural perspective, our older generation consider that things are going to fall apart. And if, for example, a linguist, pure linguist, who considers that the language should be pure and it should not be influenced by any other language of the word, he might be of the understanding that the language are going getting absorbed, getting contaminated by the other languages. So everyone considers that the things are going to fall apart and the center cannot hold. This is the basically deconstructionist understanding of the word as well. And mere anarchy is loosened upon the word. This is the most you can say it as a postmodern or the modern understanding of the word, that war is always going on and mere anarchy. What the things are so with the word, there is no reason behind this, only anarchy is ruling on the word. Our psychological distresses, there are a lot of things which cannot be understood by our mind, and they are happening, they are true, but there is no reason for those things. So anarchy is the loosened phenomena, the situation in the world, and the blood dimmed tide is loosened. This is also the very fascinating line, that word. For example, the war is consistently ongoing, somewhere in Afghanistan, somewhere in Vietnam, somewhere in Russia, sometime in the other wars. So it is consistently going on to be in the world. So war, bloodshed, all these are the very common situation, and everywhere the ceremony of the innocence is drowned, means that those who are the innocent. Now the modern world is not more innocent. It's more clever in its turn. Is it not the realistic poem in its understanding that it is the very representative of the modern age? The best lack all convictions, while the worst are full of the passionate intensity. This is the very good. Means usually we have an understanding that the word is balanced between the good and the bad. If the when there would be the bad in more number, more intensity, more in its volume or the vacuum, then the word would be collapsed. So it's very interesting that the good has lost its intention and convictions, and bad intentions are are fluent in the word. For example, I would say over here that every email user receive the mails in his or his junks from the UNO and Word order blah 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 Word Bank that you have got benefit of this amount and this amount, and even wherever we go, we have a threat of losing our property from the theft or whatsoever is there. We are more afraid of evil as compared to the believer and having belief on the goodness, but we are scared in this world. So is it not problematic? Is it not a question mark that in spite of moving 21 centuries to the modern world, still we are afraid? We feel scary even in the modern world. So this is the point what makes me to speak on it, and this is the what point which makes me to say that this is the most representative poem of the modern time as well. So surely some revelation is at hand. This is again the hope, prophecy, that the world, when it is turned into a very disordered situation, then there is at the hand the happening of something is the good. As you know, this is also presents the cyclic view of the word as well. The word is moving in its cycles. So means, for example, as Muslim we believe on that the word after this word there is another word where the Muslims everyone has to go. That would be the heaven. Even the Christians believe the word on the hereafter. Even those there Hindus believe on the word here and after. Every religion believes on the word here and after. So it's going to be that when the miseries of the world and the goodness means demise from this word, then the word from the other would be coming out, and surely that would be the revelation. So that same revelation has been prophesied in this poem as well, and surely that second coming is at hand, and that revelation would be resulted into the second coming, means second coming of the humanity. And the second coming, hardly are those words out, still just the poet has thought that the second coming. Then an image of the spiritus mundi has come, means that divine gives birth to the new spirits, and you may call that a new spirits are that of that spiritus mundi, means that is an origin of the nature which give birth to the spirits. Troubles my sight. Somewhere in the sands of the desert, a shape with the lion body and the head of a man appears. That means a new creature with this shape, means lion body and the head of the man. Here is the question: that is not that second coming is to be more worst than our this coming? So a gaze blank and pitiless as the sun. So you know that when sometimes the sun got that eclipsed. So at that time, the rays of the sun are going to be down to the earth, are very likely to be dizzy one, problematized one, not shining one. So the poet is afraid that is not that second coming is adverse as is not as miserable to our first coming, and is moving its slow thighs, while all is all about it, real shadows of the indignant desert birds. The darkness drops again, but now I know the 20 centuries of stony sleep. Means the man has been moving through 20 centuries. This poem was written in later part of the 20th century. So he's afraid that what has been in the human's past, stony sleep, were vexed to nightmare by a rocking cradle. We have nothing in our history, as well as history makes our future. History controls our future. But we have been up to the, for example, before this poem, before writing this poem, the word has moved from the World War One, World War Two, and what rough beast its hour come round at last, and slouches towards the Balthiums to be born. Balthium was a David city, means where the David has been born, Hazrat Daud alayhi salam. So it considered, it prophesies that there is the possibility that this second coming may result into the good order, but there is the possibility as well that this second coming may result into a world which might be more adverse. So the major themes with this poem is that of the violence. Prophecy means the word with the coming, and still there's the meaningless. For example, if we move back that this one, that the man has round nightmares by a rocking cradle of the stony sleep, and that stony sleep and that has been the sufferings of 20 centuries. Means after the travel of the 20 centuries, man has moved to the situation of violence against other humans. So definitely the second coming might not be. I'm not going to make a judgment that the poet is very disappointed of the world. There is an option, there is a hope that the second coming may be a very shining one, maybe very optimistic one, but at the same time it might be turned into a very devastating one as well, as our past is not so good. So how it would be going to change our future. So the meaningless word is the major themes which has been grounded in this poem, and Yeats emphasized that the present world is falling apart and a new ominous reality is going to be emerged. For example, if I talk about this recent example of the COVID-19, means the world was in its singular order, monolithic order. COVID has shifted the every domain of life. So on a sociological and a psychological ground, COVID-19 has been a new world order as well. It has been new coming to the world as well. It has been second coming to the world as well. Means the world after COVID-19 is more changed, more formulated, more transformed as compared to the world before this COVID-19. So every trouble has a new coming, every trouble has a new formulations. Same has been the COVID-19. I think the world after COVID-19 is more opportunistic. It has opened new avenues of the business. It has opened new avenues of the communication. It has introduced a new understanding of education, teaching, and everything. It has widened the market of the technology. It has massively transformed the communication from humanist understanding, humanist perspective to the digital perspective. So this word, COVID-19 has to some extent proved as the second coming to our existing world. With this, I say goodbye. If you have any questions, you may ask me. I would be there to answer your questions. Thank you very much.